So what happens next? To help us answer that question, we are going to bring in now Wayne State University law professor William Ortman. Thank you for joining us, Professor. What can we expect Tuesday when former President Trump arrives at the DA's office to self-surrender for arraignment?
Well, thanks for having me. So he will go through the same process as other defendants, though he is certainly unlike other defendants. So he will be fingerprinted. He will be photographed. We will likely not see that photograph, at least initially, unlike in Michigan where we get those mug shots. In New York, typically you don't. That doesn't mean that it won't leak, but at least initially we may not. After that, in the afternoon on Tuesday, he will be arraigned. An arraignment is a formal process. It happens in every case, though it is not momentous in every case. The formal procedure is that the defendant, Donald Trump, will be apprised of the charges against him. That may be our first look at the charges as well. He will plead not guilty, and then, by all accounts, he will be released and free to go.
Well, Trump has already said, Professor, that he plans to fight whatever charges he's facing aggressively. So can we expect to see the 45th president on trial? And if so, what does a time frame of that look like as we march toward the 2024 election?
I think that we could be on a collision course with at least primary voting, if not the general election. We can expect there will be aggressive defense immediately. I think we should expect to see motions to dismiss. Typically, motions to dismiss are not successful in criminal cases. They sometimes are, and they sometimes are when we're dealing with novel issues, and there are certainly going to be novel issues here. I wouldn't expect that the case will be resolved on a motion to dismiss. Trump has clearly signaled through his lawyers that he has no intention of taking a plea deal. So we are likely looking at a trial at some point in roughly the next year or so. But it's anyone's guess exactly how long it takes to get there.
I know, Professor, there's that age-old adage that a grand jury could indict a ham sandwich. Given that this DA halted the pursuit of hush money charges to now ultimately come back to them, it appears, what does that say, if anything, about the seriousness of the charges Trump is facing and the strength of the case against him?
It tells us a couple of things potentially, right? I think we know that the DA, Alvin Bragg, is cautious, right? We know that he wasn't going to proceed until he was confident. And so his confidence doesn't mean that he's right, but it does tell us something about his level of willingness to move forward with the charges. So it may be that there's a new development. There's been quite a bit of activity, witnesses over the last couple of weeks. It may be just a reassessment within the DA's office about the strength or about the public need for a criminal charge here. It's hard to say. My hope is that either through the indictment itself or through some of the motions practice, we'll find out exactly why DA Bragg had this change of heart.
All right, Professor William Ortman, grateful for your time today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Glenda?